pillar to post dominance. The Arizona Wildcats finally put together an almost complete game for the most part, but we did get to see a full subs performance as well. Carter Bryant with a headband. Me and Saul are going to break it all down on the other side of this break. It's the AZ Wildcats post-game show. Don't you go anywhere. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am your host for this evening, Kevin Thomas. I got my guy Saul Bookman with me, and the Arizona Wildcats have run the Runnin Utes right out of Tucson tonight, Saul. It's 83-66, sending them right back to the mountains from which they came. 0 for 2 on their little tropical getaway were the Utes against UCF. Went to warm weather, UCF, and then now they came over to Tucson. I was watching Mason
Tropical
Madsen's
compared
vlog.
to St. Louis.
Yeah, oh my God, man, they're in the negatives, but they hit 50, so everyone in St. Louis is rejoicing right now. But no, I was watching Mason Madsen's vlog the other night, and they were in UCF, and they were talking about how much they love the warm weather and how it's a nice getaway. And so I do feel bad for them that they did get whooped in both situations. They lost by a close one to UCF, but I'm getting off topic here. The Arizona Wildcats looked great tonight for the most part. Saul, what was your reaction to tonight's victory?
I'm just glad the game's over. That was probably one of the more boring games of the season, to be honest with you. Like, I'm glad that Arizona basically dominated from start to finish. You could make an argument maybe they played with their foot a little bit in the first 5 minutes, but after that, I think Caleb Love, once he got rolling, it was curtains after that. Utah had no chance to win tonight, and it just Utah needed to have an epic 3-point performance tonight to win this game in the first place, and Arizona just wasn't going to let that happen.
You know, I'm glad you kind of alluded to what would have needed to happen for Utah to win this one. I was talking to my friend Steve Rivera, host of Eye on the Ball in Tucson today, about this game, and I told him if Utah is going to pull this out, they're not, but if they were to pull this out, it would be Gabe Madsen going for 23+ with a bunch of threes, pretty much the Caleb Love performance, but it would have been from Gabe Madsen. And it was asking a lot, not only from him, but from Ezra Asar to overcome just the skill discrepancy between these two teams. And not only that, Utah firing head coach Craig Smith just days before this matchup. A lot of turbulence there. I don't believe, from the type of conversation I was seeing on social media, that the players were in on this kind of a thing. It kind of surprised everyone, it seems, the timing of it, not the result. But yeah, Utah also 1-7 in true road games this year. The odds were stacked against the Utes, and Arizona responded in a big way. I do want to go in this direction, though, Saul. Tommy Lloyd, after last game, had a lot to say about his players' approach, we'll say, to practice and to preparation for the games. He said, I believe it was Bruce Pascoe that asked him about what he saw at practice and if he thought it was a good response to his call out. He said, I'm going to let Wednesday tell the story. I'm going to evaluate it at that point. If you're Tommy Lloyd, how do you feel about the response your team gave you tonight?
I feel pretty good. Listen, the thing that really killed Arizona the other night was the turnovers. Points. I mean, plain and simple, the turnovers. And they only had 7 tonight. They took care of the ball. They got good quality shots. Caleb Love did what Caleb Love should have done this whole season, and he looks like he's starting to come on a little bit, so that's great. They played Arizona basketball the way Tommy Lloyd wants them to play Arizona basketball. Take care of the ball, play solid defense, hit shots, and you're going to win most games, if not all of them, right? So these are the things that you need to see improve from game to game. And listen, I hate to phrase it like that, because we are at the point of the season right now where you don't really have a lot of time to learn from your mistakes, because the next mistake could be your last, right? And we have 3 games left to go in the season. They go to Iowa State, they come home from Arizona State, then they finish up at KU, and then they have then they have the tournaments, and everything else after that is one and done. So you need to. This is the time where you turn it on. I'm kind of glad they kind of got this, for lack of a better word, kind of stinker out of the way. Like it wasn't an exciting game. I think it's just because we've seen so many high level electric games in the last 3 months. Like it feels like we didn't have a down game to just like kind of decompress, because even if we were playing a crappy team, we're probably playing them on the road or somebody that just came off of a win streak, and we're like it was just trying to keep the momentum going. So like it felt like every game we were on edge. This game, it was nice to just kind of, like, oh, okay, this feels like it's going to be all right tonight. It's going to be an easy one, even though it's kind of a sleeper.
Yeah, and it's a good point you bring up about how there's been a lot of very high heart rate games this season, and this was not one of them, even though this was a Big 12 conference game against a serviceable opponent. Utah's not a bad team. They're having a struggling year, but they're not a bad team. And I think that this was a nice relief to not have to really sweat, hands and feet watching Arizona this game. I do want to, speaking of sweat, though, the basketball and football guy referenced it earlier in the chat. Good teams win, great teams cover. The line was about 14.5 for those that, are interested in that kind of a thing. I just want to mention, if you can see above me, they did win, but boy, was it close. We needed all those possessions. We needed all those possessions at the end of this game.
Veesaar.
Yeah, Veesaar and the three to end the game by Grant Whiteman. That was incredible. Yeah. I was very happy about that. But yeah, it is all about Iowa State and Ames, and I'm sure we're going to touch on that a little bit later in this post game. But I do want to start by breaking down the numbers in this one, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, your number one credit union rated by Forbes. And this is the story of the game right here. Arizona 83-66. They outshot the Utes. The ball movement was back tonight for the Wildcats to an extent. They turned over the Utes, who have been really struggling with the turnovers recently. They had a season-high 19 in their last game against UCF, and they followed it up with 12 tonight against Arizona. And quite honestly, I was surprised to see this number so low, Saul, considering the fact that they started the game with 9 turnovers in the first half. So I kind of expected them to go for the season-high record of 19+. But I digress. Arizona also dominates the rebounding category tonight as well. What sticks out to you tonight, Saul, from the numbers?
Again, it was just the turnovers, the 7 turnovers. They had been averaging well over 12 turnovers a game. It felt like forever. And really it was the kind of turnovers, right? Like just the lazy kind of passes, the avoidable things. And I think that's what you needed to see clean up. And even though the other night against BYU, I felt like, they put themselves into bad positions in their turnovers. It wasn't necessarily just bad turnovers. Carter Bryant was the only one that I can recall that had like some egregious turnovers. Like, dude, you didn't even have to do that. There was no point. You just tried to make a play, and it was the wrong play, like really, really wrong play. He didn't do that tonight. Nobody else did. It felt like everybody else was just kind of, they played a solid game. They just kind of went through the motions, ran their offense the way they needed to, and they got efficient looks. And when you have guys like Tobe Awaka that could kind of, assert their dominance down low, and everybody else felt like they were attacking the rim outside of Caleb Love when he would hit those outside shots, that's a recipe for success. And when Caleb Love is hitting that outside shot, it's wide open. It's wide open, because even if he's the only one that's hitting threes, you still have to account for him. And because he has such versatility, you have to throw doubles at him every now and then, which frees up other players. And what I also liked tonight was Jaden Bradley. Not the most prolific 3-point shooter, but he took his opportunities from 3-point line tonight to try and get some work in that regard, because he knows he's going to have to hit a couple of them when you get to the tournament, either one, the conference or the NCAA. That's the biggest weakness that Arizona has, is the outside shooting. Can they do enough to hold teams at bay so that way they don't pack the paint and eliminate that and try to force Arizona to shoot from the outside? You just got to be a threat. You don't have to be dynamic. You don't have to be a superstar. Can you just hit 1 out of every 3 to keep the defense honest? If you can do that, you'll be all right. And so that's kind of what I liked, kind of what I took away from those numbers.
Yeah, and you spoke about Jaden Bradley, and I want to bring up, to me, the most important stat from Jaden Bradley: 0 turnovers tonight.
Mm-hmm.
0 turnovers tonight from Jaden Bradley, who I feel like has been consistent all year. And then there have been some games every once in a while where Jaden Bradley kind of slips up a little bit from the assist to turnover ratio. But I did love to see, to your point, Jaden Bradley kind of have a very clean game, kind of be the Jaden Bradley that we've come to know and love this season. And I want to ask you what you thought about Arizona's shot selection in this one. I thought Arizona's shot selection was incredible. W in the chat says Bradley's mid-range ball is fire. And I agree, right? But it's not just Bradley that has the mid-range shot. It's a lot of Arizona Wildcats are proficient in the mid-range on this year's team. I loved the fact that they were insistent on getting downhill early, creating opportunities by breaking the defense down, either forcing a mid-range attempt or just going all the way to the hoop. I thought that they didn't really force or settle for many early shot clock threes in the first half, especially. And now I know Caleb Love shot 15 shots and 12 of them were threes, but they were falling. So I'm not going to fault him for shooting almost exclusively threes, right? How could you fault him for that?
It doesn't matter, yeah.
Exactly,
sure.
right? Exactly. But I do think the rest of the team was making some pretty smart shots. Did you kind of notice the same thing? And how can Arizona find more success in the mid-range consistently going forward, right? They weren't really able to find it against teams like Kansas State, for example.
That is an interesting question because they have found themselves kind of in between a lot of times. What I mean by that is they'll be running their offense, and let's just say Jaden Bradley has an opportunity to go. There's been times where he opted to just run the offense and just kind of play the perimeter game, swing the ball, get everybody some touches, and I think there's been some opportunities there that they could take advantage of. I think Tobe Awaka is another example where at the top of the key, I swear they just left him wide open, and gave him like 10 feet of space. Like, I'm not saying to shoot the three.
Treatment.
Yeah, but I'm not saying to shoot the three, but get in there and maybe see if you can hit a couple floaters in the middle of the key and get the defense to kind of start to play up a little bit more on you. And I think overall, Arizona has struggled in terms of their offensive sets in that regard. Like there's still some meat on the bone in terms of the creativity that they can show. And I think we'll start to see that when we play the higher caliber teams and once we get to the NCAA tournament, because I know Tommy's got some things up his sleeve. I've seen his offense before in a variety of different ways. And there's been some sets that he has not touched all season long. And when they get to the tournament or when they get to the Big 12 tournament, I think you're going to start to see that kind of stuff. So, some backdoor screens, some off ball screen action to create a little bit more movement on the weak side. I think these are the things that you're going to start to see a little bit more and more, because just coming off a pick and roll and hoping that you're going to be able to dominate physically or athletically one-on-one is going to be much more of a chore when you start to play the better teams in this league and also in the NCAA tournament. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, KJ Lewis having the ability to actually make some of those shots. Now, I know he did go 2 for 8, but he started out hot, Saul. He started out hot with a couple of nice middies. You know what I mean?
Hot is not hot unless you hit 3 in a row. Sorry, buddy.
Hey, started out warm. The stove was on. It was turned off, but the stove was at one point on.
I can make 2 layups in a row. That doesn't mean I'm hot.
Hey, there was a nice little fall away midi.
Yeah, I'm just saying in general, in basketball terms, nobody's hot until you hit 3 in a row. Because that third one is always like, hey man, somebody got to D him up, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong at all.
First back to back, it's all right, whatever.
First one's like, okay, whatever, nice shot, or whatever. Second one's like, okay, maybe this guy can shoot a little bit. Third one's like, all right, we gotta get a guy on this one. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right on that one. We do
that's why in NBA Jam, it's like he hits the second one. They're like, he's heating up, but they don't say he's on fire until he hits the third one in a row.
Man, me and one of the interns, Rome, was playing some NBA Jam the other day. Man, that left shrimp, great player, great, wonderful player. That game got him all types of incredible that I don't even know if he believes in himself that much. But Saul and
I am undefeated on NBA Jam in the PHNX space. Just so you know, I'm like 14-0. Nobody's even come close to beating me.
And retired on top like Habib Nurmagomedov. Just doing his thing. Just got out of here. I said I'm no longer competing in the NBA Jam tournaments. 14-0, putting down the belt, putting down the gloves, calling it a day. Me and Saul have more to break down on the other side of this break. We're going to talk Arizona stocks, steals, and blocks. Did they dominate the stock market tonight? Spoiler alert. Yes, they did. But we're going to break that one down on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere. It's the AZ Wildcats podcast. Well, Saul, when I was sweating that money line, I sure could have used some of this. I sure could have used that Mando whole body deodorant. I've been rocking with Mando since they came over to the PHNX offices and blessed us with some of their product. It is a whole body deodorant that is safe to use anywhere on your body. That means your pits. If you got neck rolls in your neck rolls, under your stomach, if you got some of that action, it can go in your butt crack. It can go anywhere, literally anywhere on your body. Mando can go. That should be their sense. Mando can go anywhere you need it to be. Created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO is being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Choose from a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. And it's 12 hours after a shower. There's not going to be any scent if you're using Mando. You're going to be fresh as if you just stepped out of the shower. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code of PHNX. That equates to 40% off your first starter pack. So go to shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them that PHNX sent you when you get that nice little starter pack that comes with one of these. Next, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about our friends over at Carol Royce. And whether it's your first time, buying a house or selling a house, if you're a seasoned pro, Carol Royce has got all the experts for you. Special shout out to PHNX sports fan Hayden, who just bought his first home with Carol Royce. Derek was telling me about that earlier, so shout out to Hayden for that. But you can also become a VIP buyer like Hayden, get access to off-the-market properties that haven't even been picked up. You're looking on Zillow, Realtor, all these other places. They got the off-the-market stuff at Carol Royce. You gonna want some of that. Oh, my bad, Saul. My bad. You're there. You go. Oh, yeah. You're muted.
The great thing is also like if you're worried about your financials, Carol Royce knows all the lenders to be able to hook you up. And listen, as somebody that just refinanced their house, I got about like 10 different quotes, and there was one specific quote that was just like, we can make this work. They just knew all the little nooks and crannies to get the best deal possible. And Carol Royce and their team are going to know the same thing in terms of who can provide that for you. So that's one way to go about it as well.
Hey, you heard the boss, man. So if you're ready to find your dream home, take the next step. Call Carol Royce or visit Carol Royce online at carolroyceteam.com. That's carolroyceteam.com. Terms and conditions do apply. Don't forget about those terms and conditions. But me and Saul are back breaking down Arizona Wildcats. Big old W over the Utah Utes, who are sputtering right now without Coach Craig Smith. But let's break down the stock market. Tommy Lloyd.
Can I say that real quick? Can I talk about that real quick?
Of course.
I don't understand what the point of firing your coach 4 games before the end of the season is. I don't even understand it. There had to have been some type of a legitimate reason. Like either it's going to be found out that he did something wrong, or he got in trouble or something like that, or there was something in his contract that said if he made it to X, Y, and Z or whatever. Like I don't understand the logic. Why couldn't you wait 3 more weeks and then cut him loose? I can't comprehend it. And you hurt your team. You saw that tonight. That team didn't look anything like they did last week when they beat Kansas State and Kansas. I don't even understand what's going on. What the thought process was there? Just absolutely reckless, careless behavior. And Utah's not even a great financial position right now. Like they're going to be up, struggling to try and find a quality head coach. I know they have had a couple people that they've had their eye on. One of them is a former Utah guy. I think he's the assistant coach over at Dallas for the Mavericks in Jacobson. But just an egregious process there. And hopefully it was for a cause and not just because, I don't like him today. Let me get rid of him. Like that's BS, dude. That's BS. That's low class.
I everywhere I'm seeing that the timing was confusing. The result made sense. Maybe some of the writing was on the wall, but the timing is kind of insane. You upset Kansas and Kansas State in the same week or weekend. I forget the exact dates of those games, but they were incredible performances at home. Now they are, like I said, 1-7 on the road. But you have 3 games left in your season, 4 at the time, and you have a chance to go into Tucson and try to beat Arizona. And if you're a Utah fan, that's how you're feeling. Number 22 Arizona. Chance to get right back, not maybe into any sort of contention, but maybe just help out the remainder of our year, fight for something. I don't. It doesn't make sense because now you have Josh Eilert, who ironically was the interim coach last season for Bob Huggins when he was let go or resigned or what have you. Strange stuff going on over there. I hear Andre Miller might be in the running for that job, Saul.
Oh, really?
He's a former Ute. That's what some people that follow the Utes are saying.
Let me just say this, okay? I don't know if he's even a qualified coach or a good quality head coach. I have done no Andre Miller research, so I have no idea about his process or his career post NBA. But
head coach for the Grand Rapids Gold right now.
One of the things that I kind of despise is this idea that alums would always be the best choice to be the head coach. Like, no, you still got to know what the hell you're doing. I don't give a crap who you are. Like, all because player X had a phenomenal career with you doesn't mean that it's all of a sudden when he gets hired, all those magical memories are going to come flooding back and just infuse the program with, legacy level type of play. Like miss me with that stuff. But if he's been coaching, he's qualified, and people still respect him in the game, he's got a name out there in recruiting circles, then sure, why not? Go after it. Have at it. And listen, sometimes when you bring back alums, the benefit is that if the donors are on board, they're more likely to support the alum than the non-alum with financial backing. But it remains to be seen. But who cares? Because they're not our problems. Because we got a great coach, regardless of how many times after every loss somebody has something crazy to say about Tommy Lloyd. He's not going anywhere. He shouldn't go anywhere. Let's just move on. Actually, I went down a rabbit hole today, and I did a full comparison of Tommy Lloyd in his first 4 years versus Sean Miller versus Lute Olson. And I'm here to say that if you swapped Tommy Lloyd and Lute Olson in their eras, y'all would have had Lute Olson fired after the 3rd year. Yeah, they would have called. The pitchforks would have been out. Like Lute might not even made it to the 4th year. Like that's how wild and crazy this is, right? Like eventually once you get your program going, you'll find your way. And Tommy's got way more obstacles to deal with than Lute ever had to deal with when he came over from Iowa in his first 4 seasons. Let me tell you that, okay? So Tommy's doing a great job. Everything's gonna be fine. And regardless, like sometimes you're gonna lose games, especially in a good conference like this. You're gonna lose games. We said it before the season that they're gonna lose some games. Sometimes people just can't deal with reality, and they want to blame somebody. They want somebody's head on a stick, and it doesn't have to be like that every single time. Sometimes you just lose, and that's it.
I think that's a great point you bring up about Lute Olson specifically. I've been thinking that for a while now, just because I actually did the same thing. I didn't compare him to Sean Miller, but I did go back and compare him to Lute Olson. And I was thinking the people that are on specifically social media after every loss calling for Tommy Lloyd's job have no idea. I mean, if they do have some idea, they've clearly forgotten what it would have been like for them to go through the same thing with Lute Olson and have the same lack of patience. You sound kind of crazy, not you, but the people sound kind of crazy.
Sure. So Lute Olson, 73 and 48 in his first 4 seasons. So far, Tommy Lloyd, 106 and 29. Like Sean Miller was 96 and 43. So props to Sean Miller too, because he did a quality job. But again, like it took a little bit of time for Lute to get going. Now, once Lute got going, he got going. 20 straight seasons of 20 plus wins.
38 straight years of guys in the league.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. Like the numbers are ridiculous. 34 NBA draft picks over that course of that time. Like right, but in the early going, Tommy's been one of the best in the country. If Tommy Lloyd got fired today, he'd be at the top of the list for every single coaching opening available from that point forward. I promise you that. He wouldn't be on the market very, very long at all. Hell, Indiana, if you go over and you look at the Indiana message boards, like those people are like clamoring, hoping that they can get somebody of Tommy Lloyd's caliber.
He would eat over there. He would eat up over there too.
Dude, there's no chance.
There's history.
There's no chance he would go over there because you know why? Arizona was the one place he wanted to go. That he would leave Gonzaga.
I'm with you. I was just saying, if that nightmare scenario were to take place, he would be successful at that place. He'd be successful anywhere. But I'm saying it'd be programs. I was gonna say I don't think there's probably. I'd have to do some thinking about it. But off the top of my head, I'm sure there's not. There would not be 5 coaches, no matter who you take across the nation, that if they lost their job will be swiped up quicker than Tommy Lloyd. There's not 5 guys. There might be 4.
No, I would say
he's 4 years into this, though. I'm saying.
Oh, I get it. He's a top 10 coach in college basketball.
Good enough for me. I'm not worried about nothing after that. I mean, we're lucky to have the man. We're lucky to have the man.
Absolutely.
And you know my favorite part about Tommy Lloyd is I was talking to some people about this specifically in relation to the BYU game and some of the other contentious moments from this season. My favorite part about Tommy Lloyd, beyond the basketball stuff, he's such a classy dude. He always takes the high road. It's always about being a leader, being a sportsman, and I think like when being a fan of this program as well. That fills me with a lot of pride, knowing that that's the guy representing us on that stage.
What is the number one thing that people always say about Lute Olson outside of the accomplishments on the court?
Incredible human being. Leader, mentor.
Somebody that you would be proud to send your son to go play for. Like somebody that represents the school and the university the right way. Somebody that's always carrying themselves with respect. That's what Tommy is. Like he's just Tommy. What I love about Tommy is he seems like he's the type of dude that you would just you could have a beer with and just chill. Like, and that's the great thing about Tommy. And it's only going to get better. Like, I know like people are picking apart numbers and this, that, and the other, whatever. Like, okay, cool. It's once it gets on the tracks fully the way that he wants it to be, game over. Game over.
He said it the other day in his Houston press conference. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. He asked the media member that asked him about, Kelvin Sampson. He said, look, how many years has Kelvin Sampson been at Houston?
Bro,
right?
Why are you putting me on blast like that, huh?
No, was that you that asked it? It was a good, he gave a good answer.
Yeah, that was me that asked that question.
He gave a good answer.
Oh yeah,
How long has Kelvin Sampson been there? It takes a while to build a program. He's built it up to this far, and I want to do something like that here. And he was, he was kind of getting on you a little bit, but it was
all I was asking was like, the first time they played Houston, they were overwhelmingly dominated physically and defensively. Like, and so I asked, even though they just lost this game, does he like the trajectory of the program in terms of physicality and defense from that point to now? And he took it, and I think sometimes Tommy gets ahead of the question in his head, and then he was off. And he was off, and I was just like, bro, did I just take strays right now? Like, what just happened here? Like, I asked a legitimate question. I was setting my man up for success, and then my man set me up for failure. I don't even understand this, man. But
he's been doing that kind of a lot recently. I'm not trying to bag on him. I think it's funny, but he's been doing it a lot recently. The other week when he was like, "Oh yeah, everyone in here thinks we're gonna get our ass kicked when we go to Baylor, don't you?" Everyone was like, "No."
That was all the same question, by the way. That was all the same question.
Everybody was like, "No, actually, none of us think that, Tommy. Maybe one guy, maybe." But no, Tommy Lloyd, great guy, great coach. We do have a super chat here, Saul from Stut Joe, who says, AZ shouldn't be celebrating this win. No, Utah's sad. And honestly, I don't think Arizona is getting too high on themselves over this victory. I think this was a chance for them to show Tommy Lloyd, like, hey, we're awake. We're awake and we're at the wheel here. Sorry. Because I said it in my BYU preview, last wake-up call. Like that or Utah preview after the BYU game. Last wake-up call was that BYU game. You don't have any more wake-up calls. You've used your last one. I thought the K-State would be the last wake-up call for this team. I really did. Because they played so They
I
played
didn't.
so poorly even without the shooting. I know they would have won the game if they shot a regular percentage from three, but the turnovers, just letting K-State out physical them, I thought that was the last wake up call of like, okay, we got to bring the physicality every night. The shot's not going to be there. We have to take care of the ball, and then they do what they did against BYU at home. And so, yeah, no, they shouldn't be celebrating this. And yes, Utah is not one of the better teams in the conferences at all. But you got to win. You got to beat the teams that are in front of you. You know what I mean?
I didn't think BYU was necessarily a wake up call. I thought BYU was a good team. Like, listen, until like this 8 minute mark of the first matchup against BYU, like it was a tie game. It was nip and tuck, back and forth, and then Arizona went on a run to seal the game away. It was the same exact carbon copy game almost, except with way more scoring this time around, nip and tuck, and this time it lasted all the way to the last seconds. And Arizona wasn't able to prevail. But I didn't think that Arizona came in and felt like they could just coast through that game because BYU is a good team. Like they have got some great sets that they ran. I was so impressed with some of the offense that BYU ran in that game. And Arizona wasn't able to match up defensively and kind of slow them down to any. They couldn't get Arizona couldn't get a good feel for them defensively. That was the problem. Against BYU, that first matchup, they kind of settled in. And then they kind of realized what BYU was trying to get at, what they were trying to do. The outside shot wasn't flowing as well as it did in this last matchup. And so, Arizona was able to kind of, put their hands on the throat and choke them out. This time didn't happen. Tonight, you saw what they did in the first couple minutes. What I liked was they went from a team that was kind of like playing with their food. And then Caleb Love was like, all right, we gotta stop at this. And he hit a couple big threes, got some buckets. Everybody was feeling good. And then you could see, I literally just tweeted, I was like, man, somebody needs to give this game a Red Bull because it is boring. And then all of a sudden, Arizona goes on a run and they kind of, cement the game away in that first half and go up by double digits. And the only egregious part to that was Jaden Bradley. My Lord, don't you ever shoot the ball with that much time left on the clock in the first half again, ever. Did you not just see what happened to Maryland tonight? Oh my goodness. That was the exact same thing. Shot the ball too early. They come down and get a bucket.
That one was wild. I saw that on the replay here in the office because I've been busy doing some other stuff. And man, that was crazy. It was like Caleb Love. It was like Caleb Love-esque, except it was a winner.
Yeah.
And not just one to get you to overtime to win it. It was the winner itself. The game was tied. What a beautiful shot. But one more thing that I do want to talk about with this Utah game for sure is the stock market, Saul. So let's see how Arizona did with the stock market. And, they dominated tonight. 15-5, flat out dominant there. I see Saul making a strange face in the background there. But 8-7 steals and blocks.
I was a little confused on the graphic for a second. I was like, wait,
oh, no,
what?
You're good. I thought my math was wrong. That's what I was nervous about my math. I was like, wait, where'd my math go wrong? But yeah, 4 steals for Utah, 1 block for a total of 5 stocks, 8 steals for Arizona, 7 blocks for a total of 15 stocks. And it's a winner in the stock market for Arizona tonight. Very happy to see that.
I thought it was like up and down. And so that's why I was like, wait, what? This looks like they tied or something. I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought my math was wrong. I was like, oh no, it's such simple math. And, oh God. But yeah, no, I love to see that. I think that this was one of my keys to the game for this matchup was defensive intensity, especially after everything Tommy Lloyd said about the BYU game. I expected Arizona to come out here, really try to force the issue with turning Utah over in order to get control of this game. And that's somewhat what happened. I liked they kind of were sticking to guys pretty well tonight as well on defense. I thought that was good as well. Very active hands. So yeah, overall very satisfied. What were your thoughts on specifically the defensive performance from Arizona tonight? Did anybody stand out to you on that end of the court?
Not really. I thought the effort was good. There was a couple plays where they dove on loose balls and actually kind of started fast breaks off of them, which I thought was great. They played Arizona defense. I thought in the first half they got a little too reckless in the first 5 to 10 minutes. Utah was getting quality shots. And they were getting quality shots at the rim, too. And they just were missing these easy layups. Like, that could have easily gone a different way. But then Arizona started to lock in a little bit more. And then it was over. Like again, like that first 10 minutes was like you almost want to throw that completely out because it was kind of irrelevant. And then after, Arizona continues to be one of the best teams in the country defensively. They just are. They're in the top 15 in just about every metric. And tonight, even if they weren't playing peak Arizona defense, they're still better than most anyway. And they showed it.
Yeah, no, Arizona coming into this one with the defensive efficiency rating number 20 in KenPom pregame. That might go up considering they just held Utah to 66. Utah's not one of the better offenses.
They were top 15 before that BYU game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 96 at home will dock you some points on the defensive efficiency for sure. And to be clear on our BYU topic, that's what I was saying more so was the wake-up call. Not losing to BYU on itself, but just allowing a team to come into McHale, put up 96, the sloppy turnovers, the end-of-game stuff. I know that not Trey Townsend's fault, but you don't lose a game just because of one play. It was stuff going up to that leads to that play. So that was the wake-up call for me, not just losing to BYU, because that's a very, very well-coached and talented team. But yeah, no, Arizona, the defense, I've been saying it all season. I think this is a championship caliber defense. It's the offense that if they can pretty much be slightly above average, Arizona can really make some noise during tournament time. I want to talk a little bit about Tobe Awaka. And we'll also give out a player of the game on the other side of this break. It's the AZ Wildcats postgame show. Don't you go anywhere. Well, Saul, I don't know much about racing, but I might have to make my way over to the Phoenix Raceway to get in to NASCAR because NASCAR is coming to Phoenix. That's the Phoenix Raceway, March 7th through 9th. It is apparently a very exciting time. My guy Damon Dog was trying to tell me all about the atmosphere. He says it's a very friendly atmosphere. People kind of communal, kind of just all want to hang out, have a good time together and enjoy the sport that they love. All the stars of NASCAR will battle it out for the Shriners Children's 500 at the Phoenix Raceway. There ain't nothing like witnessing a live NASCAR battle at 200 miles per hour on this 1-mile oval raceway in the foothills of the Estrella Mountains. 40 drivers will compete amongst the likes of Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, and Big Bubba Wallace. 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion Joey Logano will also be there. It's the best-in-class fan experience for the whole family that you will not soon forget. Make sure to go over to get your tickets at phoenixraceway.com. Hidden Phoenix, March 7th through the 9th. And, if you don't drive a race car, but you drive a regular car, or you're just thirsty, you should probably hit up our friends over at Circle K. It's America's thirst stop. And if you want to join the Inner Circle, it is so easy to do so. You can do it right there at the pump or in the little parking spot. All you got to do is put in like a quick little email phone number. Boom, you're a part of the Inner Circle, and you're going to be getting 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, 3 cents off per gallon every day after that. And then when you get into that exclusive tier that I'm working up towards, you get 5 cents off per gallon every single day. That's not even talking about the membership exclusive deals on snacks, Polar Pops, beverages, all that types of good stuff. So join the Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for more details. Well, Saul, we do have a player of the game to give out, but before we talk about our player of the game, I want to talk about Tobe Awaka because the big man, the big beast in the paint has been coming through big time for Arizona. It started out this season as a player who I think it's fair to say many Arizona fans didn't have high expectations for once they saw him play. I think that it was a rusty start in a new system that he was learning how to be effective in. And then once he got a handle on this system, it was off to the races. He is one of the best rebounders in the Big 12. Before this game, ranked 4th with 8 rebounds a game. He had 7 double-doubles coming into the game, 9 in his career. Notched another one in that tonight, so make it 8 and a clean 10 double-doubles on the career. 10 games this season with 10-plus rebounds, make it 11. That was good for 4th most in the Big 12 entering play. Tobe Awaka's been awesome. I thought that at points Henri Veesaar this season would be the most standout, most improved, big, whatever you want to call it, from day one to the end of the season. It might end up being Tobe Awaka. Can you talk to me a little bit about the growth we've seen from Tobe Awaka and his game?
I know a lot of people are going to look at the double doubles and obviously he's been dominant on the boards, but offensively it's just been remarkable. Again, he's been so consistent, almost not an automatic bucket, but he's somebody reliable down low now. You feel like you're going to get a good quality shot from him. It's not something that we saw at Tennessee last season with him at all. He was not as fluid around the basket as he is now, and he's still like developing, which is it's remarkable. I think it's just been great. So his overall performance tonight was exactly what he's been doing all season. He's just solid, rebounding defensively, always at the point of attack is always vertical. I thought earlier in the game when I felt like he got a clean block, even though he got called for a foul. I thought that was a clean block. I thought he went vertical. The player initiated the contact. He came down and grabbed the ball. Like, I didn't think it was a foul at all, but casuals will call fouls. And so, hey, I think overall he's been fantastic. Like, you got to be impressed with his development. And when we get to the Big 12 tournament, when we see Iowa State this weekend, you're going to see how valuable he is, because it doesn't matter what the opponent is. I just feel like I can rely on Tobe Awaka to show up in these games.
Yeah, and let's talk about Arizona's other major big, Henri Veesaar, because one of the coolest stats that I can give you about Henri Veesaar, I'll give you two, that he has at least one block shot in 13 straight games, and he coming into this was shooting about 40% from three in the Big 12. Saul, the man can stroke it from deep, and tonight he hit one that was I believe it was late in the game. It was a nice open three. Nailed it, knocked it down with confidence. Henri Veesaar can kind of do a little bit of everything. People are starting to give him some NBA love, as well as a prospect that maybe one day could hear his name called on draft night. Henri Veesaar, to me, I think I would love to see him, what's the right word? Not aggressive, but more consistent it down low, I think. I think, me and Damon were talking about this on a recent postgame. We were saying we feel like he tries to tip the ball out a little too much. Like, he almost goes up there looking for a tip out as opposed to looking to grab it with both hands on first instinct. But so there's small stuff like that I would love to see him iron out. But overall, I've been more than impressed with Henri Veesaar and his ability to impact the game in multiple levels. How did you feel about his performance tonight? And how can he be impactful against Iowa State and down the rest of the stretch here?
So real quick, before we get to Veesaar, and I'll get to him in a second. So when we're looking at Tobe Awaka, I'm looking at evanmia.com, and Tobe Awaka's offense is considered in the 92nd percentile in the country. He's at a B+ rating, which is, I would have never thought I would say that this season. Rebounding, he's an A+. He's in the 99th percentile, obviously, because he's phenomenal in that, right? So in scoring volume, he's in the 81st percentile. So that in the scoring volume is how much he contributes to a team on a given night based on what the averages are. So overall, he's got a B+ rating. Now, when you get to Henri Veesaar, that obviously that's going to change. I got to pull this up real quick. Henri Veesaar.
While you pull that up, I do want to say that the offensive thing that you just brought up about Tobe Awaka, you alluded to it, shocks me, and in a positive way, obviously, and no offense to Tobe Awaka, but at the beginning of the season, I just didn't see, like, he really wasn't able, because he was not comfortable in the system, to showcase his bag, to showcase what he could really do offensively, and so that kind of left me as a fan with ignorance, quite frankly, compared to what he can do with his bag in a full game when he's comfortable in the system. And now that he's showing that off game in, game out, I'm more than impressed with Tobe Awaka. I think you and I talked about it on a post game that we shared recently with Arizona. Tobe's got some touch as well from just outside the rim. He can get it up and float it in. Tobe Awaka has been one of the most impressive and surprising players of the season for sure. So what did you pull up with Veesaar?
So they said on the broadcast that Veesaar's plus minus was something like a 296 or something like that, right?
Yeah, he
the
leads
highest
Arizona in plus minus this year.
Yeah, he's ridiculously high in that, which is the most useless stat, by the way. Plus minus is garbage. I don't care about that. But it does show his impact on a consistent basis when you have that high of a number. So it's not, you can't just completely scoff at it, right? So Veesaar's improvement is unbelievable when it comes to the metrics, okay? Overall, he's an A, which is in the 99th percentile. Offense, he's at an A minus, 97th percentile. Defense, this blows my mind. He's an A plus with a 3.22 BPR, 99th percentile. Scoring volume a B, rebounding a B plus, playmaking a C plus, and then court impact, the highest on the team at a plus 4.16, not plus or minus, 99th percentile. He is considered one of the best bigs in the country because of what he produces on the court and his impact on the court. It is truly remarkable what Henri Veesaar has been able to do this season, considering that he wasn't even going to be a heavy minute type of player, not heavily relied on. And that is exactly how you take advantage of a situation where an opportunity arises to an unfortunate situation because of the Krivas injury, and how to take advantage of it. And now Henri Veesaar, if he doesn't leave, which I don't expect him to, is going to be primed to be able to be a first or even a second round NBA draft pick because of his skill development, how much he's developed this season, and what he will continue to develop and add to his game going into next season, because I can't even imagine what Veesaar is going to mean to this program next season when there's only one specific thing that I feel like he needs to do to really separate himself from the bunch, and that is, can he hit the three consistently? Can he take more than just 2 or 3 a game? If he starts chucking up 6 a game and he's hitting 2 or 3, it's a game changer, complete game changer, because there's not a lot of bigs out there in the country that can do what he does as a 7-footer who can put the ball on the floor and get to the rim. He could be very Dirk Nowitzki-like. And I hate to compare him to another tall white guy, but like that's just what he is. Like he's a good, solid, all-around player. He's sneaky athletic. I think people like even Corey when we were on the McHale Madness pod, I was like, he was talking about, well, Toby's athletic. Veesaar is just he's kind of stiff. I was like, no, he's not. Like Henri Veesaar to me is more athletic than Tobe Awaka. Like in terms of flexibility and athleticism, like
he is.
He
can do more athletic things on the court than Tobe Awaka. And,
1,000,000%.
And for at his height, it's way more impressive, respectfully, to Tobe.
Exactly. And so I continue to be impressed. I thought tonight he continues to develop and show that he is not afraid of the moment. He's not afraid of playing big-time college basketball. And I really hope he sticks around for one more season, because if he does, man, the sky's the limit. If him and Carter both come back next year, this team will be in the top 5 of the country to start next season, because they will have 2 players that nobody thought would be as impactful as they could be, that will have an entire offseason of that experience behind them in order to think about how they can develop. They talked about how Carter Bryant is constantly in the gym. I've seen it myself. I got there an hour and 45 minutes before the game against BYU, and Carter Bryant was already out there getting a good lather in, getting shots up, working on some things. Like that kid is destined to be a really, really good player, especially at the next level. And so I'm excited for those guys and really Henri Veesaar, because he deserves it. He put a lot of work in. He paid his dues.
Man, I don't even know what to say after all that, Saul. That was wonderful, and you got me fired up. You got me a little delusional as well, because now I'm thinking, oh, well, it's going to be Henri Veesaar, Carter Bryant, Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, and Cole Pete. That's what now I'm just, my brain is just fully gone to that
Brady
place.
Burries. Give it to me.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here? The vision is clear. The vision is really clear. But no, on the Henri Veesaar topic, he has been incredible this season. To see him go from a guy, like you said, that might not have gotten a lot of run this year, or at least what the plan probably might have been coming in. I'm sure his skills would have, proven out in that sense. But for him to grow from where he was to now he's getting some NBA love. It's a beautiful thing. And I think whatever he's doing with that cupping therapy, just keep it up. Keep up the cup. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. Hashtag keep up the cup, Henri Veesaar, because whatever you're doing, it's working. He's playing awesome. And I do want to talk about his athleticism as well, because this guy, it's rare that you get players that genuinely, when they go to the rim, Saul, want to finish with authority. There are guys that look to finish. There are guys that go aggressive every once in a while when they have the look to do it. Henri Veesaar, there are times where he's looking to put dudes through the base. He's looking to put dudes through the stanchion is the word I'm looking for. He wants to punish guys below the rim. And that, I think, is an intangible that kind of shows where he's at mentally on the court. And I think Arizona, that's a guy that you do want to keep around. You like, that's a guy that can really impact winning on every level. And you spoke to Carter Bryant. I also want to mention that's a guy that cares about the right stuff, right? A guy like Carter Bryant, who is as talented as he is as highly touted as he was coming out of high school, for him to choose to come off the bench and play for Tommy Lloyd and just trust the process and just trust that I am going to get better. I'm going to learn how to win. I'm going to learn how to impact winning in a real way, not in an AAU way. I think that really proves where his head is at. I hope that he takes it all the way of, I don't even want to go in the 20s to 30s. I want to come back and be a lottery guy. That's what my delusional hopes are. But honestly, Carter Bryant feels like a guy that would just go to any because if he's going in 20 to 30s, right, in the NBA draft, he's going to a pretty decent situation. And I think Carter Bryant's a guy who would value that, unfortunately. Smart kid, great. But yeah, no, I think Carter Bryant and Henri Veesaar have been, this whole team, right? There are a lot of guys in this team that have been beautiful stories to watch from a developmental standpoint this season. We do have a player of the game to give out. What's up, Saul?
Before you do that, you just mentioned Carter Bryant. So here, let me run through the list real quick, okay? So in terms of player impact and projected value for a team, right? You have, I'm going to rattle off a few names, all right? You have Joseph Tugler at Houston, which is like, okay, that's
worst sideburns in all of college sports.
Toppin, Texas Tech, Dickinson, Kansas, Arsenault, Houston, Williams, Texas Tech, Uzon, Houston, Cryer, Houston, and then Henri Veesaar. Then you have Dylan Mitchell, Juwan Roberts, and then Carter Bryant. Those two players are about 10 spots higher than the next closest player, who is KJ Lewis, who is a couple spots above Caleb Love. That's how impactful those two players, who were not expected to produce a lot for Arizona this year, have been for Arizona this year. So let's give out our player of the game. Let's do it.
Hold on, one more thing while we're in the delusional zone. We didn't even mention that Henri Veesaar and ADO, I think, are the two one of the most effective two-man lineups according to Evan Maya, I think, in the entire country. Someone asked Tommy Lloyd about that. Someone go back and watch if you want to find out what I'm talking about, go back and watch Tommy Lloyd's most recent presser before this game. He was saying, someone asked him, did you know that Henri Veesaar and Anthony Dell'Orso are two of the most efficient two-man game in the nation, according to some statistics and analytics. And Tommy, I don't think was really buying it, but it is an interesting thing that there is just kind of proof that there's a stat for anything to back up any point or position that you want. You can find a stat for it. That's my message to you, the people. But we do have a player of the game to give out, and it is clearly Caleb Love. 23 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, a bunch of threes, diving on the floor, doing it all. Combo guard is kind of a term that I think when Tommy Lloyd brought Caleb Love to Arizona, combo guard is what Tommy Lloyd kind of wanted to turn him into, more of a guy that could do more things to impact winning than just score the basketball, right?
Yes. Who asked that question?
I don't remember.
I've looked at these things, I think, at least 3 times a week, and I've never seen ADO in them, and he's still not.
I'll find it.
The
I'll
best
find it
two-man lineup that Arizona has, or two-man combo lineup, is Bradley and Veesaar. Bradley is involved in every single one.
It might have been Bradley. It might have been Bradley and Veesaar. It might have been Bradley and Veesaar.
Like, how could it be ADO? Sometimes he plays like 18 minutes. Like, it couldn't possibly be him.
Yeah, I might have been flipping Bradley and Veesaar there as well. But yeah, thanks for checking me on that, actually. But so Caleb Love doing it all. I think, the evolution of his game from the perspective of a guy that can. I've watched Caleb Love since I was 15 years old, right before I could drive.
Right, yeah.
So I like, this is a player who's really truly evolved. I was, when I was going back and watching some of his highlights from high school, I realized, okay, he kind of always has been this kind of guy, and maybe he is this guy to an extent. But I think his ability to impact winning on so many different levels now is really something that he should really be proud of, right? Because the passing, the defense, just he's probably having the best defensive season of his entire life right now. And I think that is something that Caleb Love, when he came back this season, probably was one of his main goals, right? Is to become a player who can impact winning in more ways than just putting the ball in the bucket, which obviously is his primary way of impacting winning. But I'm really happy to see that Caleb Love, when Arizona needs him most, is playing great defense, even if the shot's not falling. And his facilitation has gotten better as well. So.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I think the thing about Caleb Love is if you come in thinking that Caleb Love is going to be this dynamic, unstoppable scorer, averaging 25 to 30 points a game, then you're going to be disappointed. Like, you have to live with the ups and the downs. And there are going to be downs with Caleb Love. But what I love about Caleb Love is that he continues to bounce back. He bounces back. Like, he showed it multiple times last year. He didn't have the greatest tournament last year. He kind of let the team down a little bit. But now we're going this season. He had such a great start to the year, and he'd been kind of struggling up and down. But Arizona still found ways to win. He started to develop more ways to impact the game outside of just his scoring. And that's when Arizona really started to get on a roll, because they can rely on that consistency instead of having to bench one of your best players because he's not scoring and he's not giving you anything else. And so you got to give Caleb a lot of credit for developing that. And then additionally, like, we're starting to see him kind of come on now. And I'm praying for the kid. I really am praying that we get to the tournament and he has the kind of impact that honestly a player like him deserves. He just does. The amount of crap he has taken from both North Carolina fans and even Arizona fans.
Speak on it.
Saul. I couldn't even imagine, my kid being in that position, me being in that position, you being in that position, and how I'd feel about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy's out there doing his very best, and he has the weight of the world on his shoulders because of the amount of money that he's getting paid to play at the University of Arizona. Well, it's not his fault somebody gave him that money. He took it, just like any of you would. And he's doing his best to try to get back on top. I see this kid every single game. After the game, he comes out of the locker room, or he comes out of the press conference, and he goes. And I want to say maybe it's his parents, or it's somebody he's really close to, and he sits there for like an hour in the arena after everybody's left, and they're talking. And I don't know what they're talking about. Eventually, I'm going to ask Caleb when I see him at some point and say, hey, what is that? Like, what are you getting out of that? Because I just feel like that's, even if they're not talking about the game, even if they're not talking about anything specifically that's going on with the team or anything like that, to me, it's some type of therapeutic medicine that he really enjoys, because he does it every single game with the same people. And the way he's been coming on of late, I just really hope that this kid can find his way to be able to elevate Arizona. If he can get Arizona to the Final Four, oh my God, the shirt that I will make to wear all day, every day for the rest of my life will just be like, again, we've had players come and go through the program, and some of them have gotten crapped on because they've had a bad game or they didn't show up or whatever, right? Coaches too. But Caleb Love has, for whatever reason, been such a lightning bolt of controversy, hate. I wouldn't even say controversy, because there's nothing controversial about having a bad performance. He just had a bad performance. But the amount of hate and people dismissing him. Could you imagine if we had Joson Sainon instead of Caleb Love right now?
I honestly can't imagine it. I honestly can't imagine it.
People were clamoring for that. They were clamoring for a freshman to come in and hopefully bail Arizona out. Like, what are we doing here? That's just not, there was nothing logical about that take. And then on top of that, the amount of hate that he continued to get, even when he was improving defensively, when he was becoming more of a versatile playmaker. Again, I'm going on and on, but Caleb Love deserves more respect than he gets. He deserves a lot of love from this fan base and encouragement from this fan base. And I know that the fan base feels it, because he gets the loudest ovation every single time he's announced in the arena. He gets the loudest. It's not even close. Like, nobody else gets a louder round of applause than Caleb Love. It's because I feel like deep down inside, everybody knows, like, no matter how much I might have crapped on him on social, I still want to cheer for this guy because he means everything right now. He's the key. If he plays at a high level and scores at a high level, he can single-handedly carry Arizona to a national championship. That's how good Caleb Love is. But a lot of people just want to dismiss that for a freshman that plays up the street who's played half the games because he's been injured. Like, come on. Like, we got to, like, no. 5-year senior. Give the man his fucking due. His respect. Sorry for the F word. My bad.
You made it almost a full hour, Saul. You did so well.
I'm sorry,
almost an hour.
You told me about that the other day after the BYU game. My bad.
If you are watching with our streaming partners, make sure to head over to GoPHNX because we're about to have Erika Day hop in here with some Tommy Lloyd post-game press conference clips to talk about. But before we get to Erika Day, who I believe is joining us pretty soon here, Saul, I wanted to kind of talk about Caleb Love just a little bit more because I think you were right on the money with the Josan Seinan thing. It's funny you bring that up because I had the exact same thought because I had the U of A game on over here and I also had the ASU game on because the ASU guys are doing their show in the other studio right now. And Josan Seinan can't even score and they have 5 scholarship players. Like, I'm not trying to, pile on the Josan Seinan. He's a freshman. It's okay to struggle as a freshman. But the insane comparisons between a fifth-year senior who has done it on the highest heights in college basketball that they have to offer, in the biggest games that college basketball has to offer, and you want a guy that was just playing high school ball? And not even a guy that was just playing high school ball and maybe he's like one of the greatest players that we're going to see in the next 10 years. You just want a guy that was just playing high school ball last year who's really good at high school level but hasn't done it at all on a level that matters. But
guess what we would have heard? When inevitably he didn't reach the expectation, the surreal expectations of Mike Bibby level national championship level, right? As soon as he wouldn't have done that and people saw that within the first 10 games, who are they going to blame? Tommy Lloyd. Oh, I can't believe he got rid of Caleb Love. You don't get to do that.
No, you do not. We do have Erika Day here. We are going to add Erika Day into this right about now. Erika, let me get her in here. Erika.
Super Zoom.
Yeah, Erika, how we doing? We're all zoomed in here. Welcome, Erika Day. How are we feeling?
Uh-oh, can't hear her.
We can't hear Erika.
No.
It says you've muted yourself. It's not on me. I'm looking at something that says guest has muted themselves. No low.
Damn.
Hello, no low. We're going to be right back with Erika Day here in a moment. Sometimes, Saul, she likes to give me a lot of crap for accidentally kicking her out too early in these games. And she gets in here and she has herself muted. Not even my fault this time, Saul. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, sometimes you cancel yourself,
Yeah, sometimes you just know. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't this time. But I think we're about to have Erika Day for real this time. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know.
That's on you. That one's on you, isn't it? No?
No. Erika is not in here right now. But but yeah, Saul. Erika's ditching us. She's flaking on us right now, Saul. I don't know what to tell you.
It's all good. It happens. Hey, technical difficulties get the best of her.
It does happen. But
she's had a hard week. She's had a hard week. Her the GOAT.
You lose
DT.
You lose DT, and that's a problem. You lose DT, and that's a problem.
She's getting through it. So hopefully she'll be able to bounce back.
Losing DT. Arizona kind of struggling up and down. The women's basketball team, what's going on there? They got a big W though, Saul. The women's basketball team did get a big W.
Man, they need every single W. They're one of the first 4 out right now, projected first 4 out, and I still do not understand how. They've only got one quad win on the season. They lost to Northern Arizona and GCU, both in state. They almost, if they would have dropped that one to Houston, a 5-win basketball team, the absolute in the history of college basketball, with one conference win. If they'd have lost to them, it would absolutely be over. But they didn't. They won, and then they won against Texas Tech, and they got one game left against ASU before they head to the tournament. So hopefully they can start to maybe they can get one more big win to solidify their position in the tournament. Hi, Erika.
Hey guys.
Oh no! Not again.
She can be heard this time.
Thank God. I have something to say.
Oh, there it is.
I want to express my immense frustration and disappointment with this crowd tonight. I've come on here week after week and I have really, rode for the crowd. Even when it was a little lighter than it maybe should have been, I rode for them because they were loud, they were mighty, they came with the smoke. But you can't leave a basketball game with 5 minutes to go before 9 p.m. You agreed to come to a 7 p.m. basketball game. I don't care that it was a blowout. I do not give a flying poo-poo in the world. Keep your rear end in your freaking seat and support these guys. They don't come here so that they can play basketball in front of me. They come here so that they can play basketball in front of you. So do your job and stay in your seats until the end of the game. I'm not sure how the Big 12 expects us to have a 9 p.m. basketball game on a freaking Tuesday if we can't even keep them in their seats past 8:54. So all that said, if you are a Wildcat fan and you are listening to this podcast, you better keep your rear end in your seat next Tuesday or you will have to deal with the three of us, okay? Thank you so much. I've said what I had to
hath
say.
no fury like a woman scorned. And Erika has been on here really caping for the crowd every week. And so to hear Erika come on here and do this, it's serious.
I do want a slight rebuttal, not too much, because I do agree. I do agree. However, man, there's been some super late games, and I'm just saying, like, listen, it was nice to. This is the first game all year where we could just kind of coast for the first time. I'm like,
why you should enjoy it. I got Cohen right now uploading a clip to discuss the Grant Whiteman 3. You missed the Grant Whiteman 3 out of your own selfishness because you wanted to go where? Get some sleep? Do it on your own time. I don't care. You missed the Grant Whiteman 3 because you wanted to go where? Where was more important?
Home.
Please tell me.
These people got families, Erika. These people are old.
Flip that. I'm over it. I'm done. Thank you.
Listen, man. Like, I mean, come on now. Half that team, half the squad is still like full off of that, that early dinner that they had before they got to the game. Like, they just want to get home and take a nap, man. I don't know what you want, 9 o'clock. You're lucky they show up for 9 o'clock games.
Listen, y'all got Caleb Love over here laughing at me right now, but I'm serious. Y'all missed this Grant Whiteman 3. I'm over it. I'm done.
Yo, get over yourself. What are you doing?
They're all dying laughing at me. This is not my best moment.
Hey, at least you're repping. They're laughing because the passion is there. At least you weren't getting laughed at for a take. That would be embarrassing.
I really hope that they know what I'm yelling about.
They got it.
Yeah,
I think everyone in McHale understood where you're coming from. Every staffer left in the building. Tommy Lloyd is somewhere in the annals of McHale saying, "What is she on about out there?"
He heard Grant's name and he's like, "Oh, she's at it again."
I was gonna say, if you did leave early, you did miss the moment of the night where Grant Whiteman not only put the dagger in the cover for Arizona tonight, but also hit a big 3 and had all the people going crazy. So that was fire.
Carter and Tobe Awaka said that rebound that Grant got was better than any rebound they got all night long. And that made me belly laugh. That is hilarious.
It was a pretty savage rebound. It was a pretty savage. He skied up.
I'm screaming. I'm like, dude, you'll listen. Go over to PHNX_Wildcats on Twitter. You'll see the clip right there. It's going to be uploaded here very shortly. But anyways, we do got some other clips to get to that might be a little more, relevant. I hear you guys kinged my guy Caleb Love as the player of the game today, and I have so much so much sound on this guy Caleb today, and I'm so excited to bring it to you. Got Carter talking about him, got Tobe talking about him, got Tommy talking about him, basically the whole, freaking team talking about him. So I'm super amped up.
We
So
we
as you can
to
obviously tell.
start. Yeah, to start, we have Tommy Lloyd on Caleb Love, and then I'm gonna get you your clips while we're talking about the Tommy Lloyd one.
Caleb was great today at both ends of the floor. He really took that challenge to guard Madsen. Madsen's a heck of a player. We've played against him for 3 years. 3 years. You talk about an energizer bunny and relentless energy. That dude is moving all the time, and the degree of difficulty on some of his shots that he can hit are impressive. I thought Caleb did a great job. He guarded him for the most game. I think I looked at the final stats. He ended up 2 for 10 from 3, but I only think he had 8, until the last minute. So Liam Lloyd and Grant Whiteman each gave him a 3, so they probably got a set of lines tomorrow. But Caleb did an amazing job for the worst game, and I think he banked one of those 3s in, right? Didn't he in the first half? The first one was a bank 3, I think. So Caleb did an amazing job. You know what? But here's your reward. You get a chance to do it again on Saturday. So what you did today was great, but now it's March basketball. It needs to be again Saturday.
Erica, what were your thoughts on that clip from Tommy? And while I get your other clips ready, how was Tommy on Caleb Love tonight?
I want to point to something you guys were talking about when I first got on the show. He's a fifth-year senior, and I think the tone around him with Tommy has really shifted a lot throughout the latter half of this season. And I think if you go back to our post games, you'll hear where Tommy is constantly kind of inciting confidence into Caleb. He's constantly pouring into the kid, and I think that was the right thing to do at the right time. And now he's right. It's March basketball time. It's time to be good and be good all the time and consistently. And like Saul said, you're a fifth-year senior. You got to keep it together, get it together, and keep it together for the rest of your team. And so it's really important time for Tommy to be with Caleb, but it's a really important time in Caleb Love's career right now.
Saul,
he's got a lot to prove. Got a lot to prove.
Yeah.
And not really to us, really to himself, and also for his basketball future. Like, he has an opportunity right now to solidify himself and become an NBA prospect, or he will find himself playing over in Europe, which isn't bad, which is great. Like, you can still make quality living. We see PJC overseas playing, balling out. Raleigh Alkins is over there balling out. Like, a lot of guys take that path, and I always encourage it, because if you're a fringe NBA player or a star over in Europe, yeah, I'll be a star in Europe, 1,000,000%, 10 out of 10, because you're going to get the love, you're going to get the money, you're going to get more money. And it's going to be quality, living. So he's got an opportunity right now, though, because the NBA has always been the dream. That's why he came back this year, because his stock was not high enough. So he's got a tremendous opportunity to kind of carry this team and be the face of Arizona basketball for the next, let's say, month. And if we see him a month from now, guess what, folks? That probably means we're in the Final Four.
And I think something that you just alluded to, Saul, and something that Tommy Lloyd alluded to in his answer, this is Caleb Love time, folks. It's tournament time. This is Caleb Love season. We got Dame time. We got to figure out maybe like a heart sign or something for Caleb Love, because it is his time to shine against the teams that I know the stats. Wakanda forever? What was that?
No, that's love in sign language, dude.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I'm not fluent in sign language. I am fluent in movies and pop culture sometimes, so... What am I? That is literally that I'm not. We can both be right.
First, sign language or Wakanda forever. My goodness.
We can both be right, Saul. We can both be right. It's I love you, and it's Wakanda. It can even be love Wakanda. Anyway, point is, my point with all this was initially is that this is Caleb Love's time of the year to dominate. You know what? We got Tobe Awaka and Carter Bryant talking about Caleb Love, and thank you, Erika, for this clip and our moment of laughter.
I think he's just playing free. A guy of his caliber, a guy of his status, there's a lot of pressure on him, and he's way harder on himself than any of the coaching staff, any of us as teammates, and I think it was just really just take a deep breath and just know who you are. Know what your talent is and go out and show the world. And I think that's what he's been doing as of late. And then, we as teammates are supporting him through the highs and the lows, making sure that he stays even keel, and he's a leader for us.
Something that really interested me in that clip as we calmed down from our laughter there was that Tobe Awaka said Caleb Love's harder on himself than anyone could ever be on Caleb Love. And I think that this is something that we talked about earlier in the year when Caleb Love brought up his smile count, how many times he smiled in a game. I thought that this was simply something that, when he said that, I was like, you never want to talk about a player's mental because you're not them and you don't know them and you can't assume where their head is at. But sometimes when someone tells you what they're going through, you should listen. And when Caleb Love is asking telling coach, hey, I think I got more smiles in this game, he needs to take some load off of his shoulders, right? Pressure-wise. And I think that that's kind of what we're seeing in these games where Caleb Love is successful. He's flowing, he's loose, and this is the Caleb Love that balls out in the tournament time, right? So I think that was the most interesting thing in that clip for me. And also, I want to bring up how awesome is this for a guy like Carter Bryant to be experiencing this ride with a fifth-year senior that's played in these games like Caleb Love, and the guy that's going through all the ups and downs of what it's like to be that kind of scorer. It's got to be a very valuable experience for Carter Bryant as well. So what were your guys' takeaways from that clip?
I mean, I feel like we got to do this now. We have to do this now, right? We have to make this Caleb Love. This has to be Caleb Love. We have to put it face.
Hey, I'm on it, Saul. I am on it. That is my department, and I am on it.
Oh, God.
Erika, go ahead.
No, I was actually just going to say something that I didn't include in the clips today is they asked Tommy and Carter and Tobe like 3 different ways if the guys and Caleb in particular were prepared to be booed on Saturday in Iowa State. And Tommy basically said, do you not think that Caleb has been booed more than anyone else in the entire NCAA, basically? And so, Caleb's mental is very important, but I think Caleb is capable of flipping a switch whether Caleb's in a good spot mentally or not. And I think that's Caleb's superpower.
Also, what's so funny is this is like, and I don't know who asked the question. I don't really care who asked the question, but I have not played the amount of high-level basketball that Caleb Love has played, right? But I do know that I have played in high school and college in some places that were kind of, they were kind of, sus. Or maybe not sus, raucous. They were raucous, okay? And when they booed, like, that's almost better than getting a cheer.
Like, you get
hyped up. Like, you get hyped up like, yeah, I'm the villain tonight, and I'm going to be a bad boy. Let's go. That's just what it is. Like, I guarantee you Caleb Love likes playing on the road and getting that hostile environment and hitting that 3 and shutting them all up. Like, oh, hell yeah. That's way better than a crowd roar, in my opinion.
I'm not trying to dig into the semantics of it with you, Saul, but I actually don't think if we're drafting players that have that kind of mentality, I almost feel like Caleb Love likes being the baby face more than the heel. Like, I do think Caleb Love really revels in hitting that 3, turn to the crowd, doing one of these or blowing a kiss or whatever Caleb Love wants to do. I think he revels in those moments, actually. But your point is correct.
Caleb
I'm
Love?
not trying to...
Trash talking Caleb Love? I'm
not saying he doesn't enjoy the other side of it, but I'm saying if we're drafting players on this team that when it's a road game, they're like, oh, yeah, I'm about to go silence a crowd. He's probably
I know he's still in the arena. You might as well go ahead and ask him, Erika. Which one do you like better?
He actually did leave.
Yeah.
Tough.
I know.
Tough situation.
It's real crap, I'll be honest. But guys, we have to get through the rest of these clips. There's something so invaluable that is coming, and you guys are going to talk too much.
Headband Bryant?
Exactly. Yeah. All right. I asked about it, so go ahead and play that clip, Kevin.
Headband Carter to stay.
I don't know. It might be Tobe's call.
I mean, I like it personally. I think he rocks it.
No, KJ and Trey were supposed to wear it with me tonight, but they didn't end up wearing it. They left me out there alone.
Definitely not their lone soldier. I don't know. I might make them wear it. I might just put it on their heads for them.
So dudes were flaking on Carter Bryant?
Damn.
We could talk all day about the crown that some men wear, right? But I think we should continue to talk about the headband that Carter brought. Got me iced up today. Whew.
I just want to go on the record and say I'm not a fan of the headband. I think it should be banned.
Whoa.
Headband book is not my favorite book.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to see headband Carter. I don't want to see headband Bryant. Sorry.
The difference is, though, Saul, the difference is Devin Booker don't rock it. Carter Bryant rocks it. Now, listen, wait.
Carter Bryant rocks
Olive
everything.
Branch. Yes, my point. Olive Branch. I think Carter Bryant needs to go back to the cornrows that he had in high school because that look went hard. Now, that, whatever his choice is with his own hair, but I'm thinking if we're going to play Sims with Carter Bryant, I'm taking out the headband and I'm subbing it for some cornrows because I think that's the best Carter Bryant look. Could you imagine Carter Bryant killing dudes on the court with some cornrows? Oh my gosh!
In the red unis?
Maybe even throw a headband on over the cornrows. Now we're really talking.
That's too much heat.
Thank you.
That's too much heat. He's going to melt the rubber off the soles of his
feet. They're going to put us on the 11 o'clock games. It's just going to be terrible. No, we can't.
If
That's
we
too
think
much
they associate us with Tempe now, just imagine if Carter did all that.
Man, what else you got for us, Erika? I think we got another Tommy Lloyd clip about the response from his team.
You know what that means? That's not sign language. That's pull chocks, man. We got to go.
Listen, I really got what I came here to do. Talk about the crowd because I was very disappointed. Talk about Caleb being awesome, and then Carter headband. So I did what I came here to do today.
Well, I actually, this is outside of the headband. This is the clip I was actually most interested in hearing. I was labeled that this is Tommy Lloyd talking about was his team casual tonight against Utah after he said they were casual against BYU. So this is what Coach Lloyd had to say on that topic.
And listen, a little bit. I mean, maybe a little bit casual. But they were throwing a lot at us. They're going down, switching defenses every possession, and this time of year. You're playing teams that, the deeper you get into March and this time here, teams are pretty set in the ways they do things. And obviously there's a little curveball here. And, I had not seen him play much triangle in two, but I also knew Josh, he's been in this situation before. He went through it last year at West Virginia. Sometimes when you're in that role, you can come in and throw pitches that maybe aren't in your repertoire. And he did that today. And so that kind of made the game feel a little bit disjointed, but I'm proud of the way our guys handled it. Listen, I could have coached it different. I could have called timeouts and started get on the whiteboard and all this stuff, but I'm fine that we struggled a little bit. We got the win. We dealt with a little bit of adversity. Hey, maybe now next time if somebody tries a triangle and two on us, we can address it a little bit and be a little bit more familiar with it.
My man said that he embraced the spirit of Rick Majerus and went triangle and two like it was 1998 in the suite in the Elite Eight. Come on, my guy. That shit ain't going to work tonight. Come on now.
I also love that Tommy Lloyd kind of insinuated I could have tried to scheme up some crazy stuff to counter the triangle and two, but let's look at the scoreboard, folks. I didn't have to go to the whiteboard. I just had to go to Caleb Love and say, hey, hit that corner three. Hey, go hit the top of the key three, and let's get out of here. And maybe then you could stay for another hour after and laugh at Erika, and we'll get you home a little earlier than usual. But yeah, no, that was interesting to me. I thought it was interesting that, I think it was kind of coach speaky almost to the way he answered it. He was kind of a little casual. But I was like, wait, I thought you were on fire after they showed up casual last game, and now they show up a little casual and they beat some team by almost 20, and it's eh? So I was like, I kind of wanted more of a definitive, you said you were going to, get an answer by the response in this game. They did respond. I just wanted more of a cemented, concrete answer. It wasn't a bad answer. I just wanted more from it.
It's a long season.
It is. It is a long season. But, I don't know. That Erika, is that all you got for us, I think, right? That's all you got clips-wise?
That is all I got for us, actually. Thanks for having me on. Another successful post-game, guys.
Now you sound like the damn McHale crowd. Now you sound as sleepy as the McHale crowd. What happened?
You acting like this is your last show.
It's not.
Yeah, no, those are some good clips, and I just
Am I getting fired live on air right now? That's crazy.
Only if you're firing
yourself. You were just coming on here like, yeah, guys. I mean, you were so fired up. You were the most fired up out of any of us coming on here, and so I just thought it was kind of a switch up for you to end it on such a.
Erika, I know you're new to this. Because you just moved to your new crib. It's a little further away than you used to, but what I'm saying is you got to keep the energy up because about halfway through that drive, you start to crash. And that last little bit is going to carry you all the way home. I promise you. So, take it from me.
Before
A guy that has to drive
just
an
gotta
hour
say
and a
one
half to
quick
get
thing.
back home every night.
I just got to say one quick thing. And listen, Max, no free ads, but,
he's in Africa. We don't care. He's in Africa.
These dudes scheduling these late games, and then the freaking Taco Bell is closed. I'm pissed. What the hell? Anyways, I need my Baja Blast for the way home, okay? And you're going to tell me I can't get my Baja Blast on the way home? It's ridiculous. Egregious, if you will. Anyways.
The one on Portaro is open.
That is 30 minutes from my house. I don't want a cold crunch wrap. It's disgusting.
I thought you wanted a Baja Blast. What? Now we're entering
Can I not have both? Oh my gosh, Max is going to kill us. This is way too much talk about this. Anyway.
Again, he's in Africa. He ain't watching none of this right now. We are in outlaw country. This is not real.
He's in Africa?
This is all fit. I think so. I think he's in Africa right now.
We got two PNX employees in Africa right now?
We have two. Who's the other one?
Max and EJ. EJ's in Africa too. He's in Ghana.
Then I guess so. We just got an international group right now. Maybe I might be spreading fake news, but before Max left, that was my understanding, was he was taking a trip to Africa.
All I heard today was that Max was missing, so I've been keeping my eyes peeled for Max. Out in the streets.
Owens,
you never know when you're going to run
Max
up on
just
him.
went MIA. I don't know. The Rising Crew, they're a different group. I don't know what's going on.
They're a little different. They are a little different.
Those part timers.
Yeah. You tell him, Erika. Yeah, you tell him. That has been Erika Day. Erika, where can they find you doing all your stuff? Great women's coverage, great Arizona coverage. Where you at?
I'm a spot the show. PHNX Mercury has a show next Thursday. Be there or be square. You can follow me on Twitter at Erika Lee Day, but I expect you to be in the PHNX Mercury show next Thursday at 12 o'clock noon.
Damn straight. She is Erika Lee Day. And thank you, Erika, for your clips. And we will talk to you probably on our next post game this weekend.
I'll be there.
Well, Saul, it has been a very fun show. I learned some sign language. We broke down a nice U of A victory, a nice relaxed U of A victory. And before we get out of here, I just wanted to send a huge shout out to every single one of you in the chat tonight. The Pete Souza Show stopping in with some love. My mom in the chat, Roderick in the chat, Meisner in the chat, the basketball football guy, Amelia, Luke, Brian, everybody that was in the chat tonight. Appreciate you for joining us. We're just trying to do the best job we can, folks. So I appreciate you for the support. Leave a like, leave a comment after the video goes, over like that. It helps us out. And Saul, what else you got before we get up out of here?
Hey, I only got one thing. You follow me at Saul_Bookman. I'm on Blue Sky too if you want to follow me there. And Caleb Forever. There we go. Let's go.
Caleb Forever. Caleb Forever. But on that note, I am your host, Kevin Thomas. Catch me on Friday with, it might just be a solo show on Friday, but we're going to be breaking down Iowa State in that matchup, and then catch us on the post game as well. You can catch me on Twitter at KevoPosts. The home of our podcast is PHNX_Wildcats. And for Saul Book.
McHale Madness tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. McHale Madness.
Tomorrow night.
Corey, myself, keep on breaking this down. We're going to get into Iowa State as well. So, come on through.
Yeah, join us on McHale Madness tomorrow night. But until then, bear down and go Cats. Another big dub in the books.
We all silly like the mayor.